Hello, my darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, you're so very welcome indeed. Are we loving the fit? Are we living for the beat? I'm on my way out. Yeah. And I said, you know what? Let me come and film this and then I'll go right out. This, my darling, is by Other Stories. Do we live? Do we love? Let me step back so that you can see what it looks like. Blouse, which is gorgeous, all the way in the back, skirt, and then I'm just wearing platforms. This kind of sort of works. Yes, my darling. Alrighty, so yesterday I was bombarded on all of my social media platforms, every single one of them, by the notification that Nikki, should I put this up? Oh, that's cute. Do we live? Do we love? Yeah. What do you think, guys? This is much better. It will work. All right. So I was bombarded. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You guys let me know what time it was. I want to say thank you, my beautiful Fumi Nation. Thank you so very much for keeping me at breast, because yesterday Ula and I took Adrian to SeaWorld. It's midterms here in London. Every 6 weeks the children break up for about a week or 2 weeks, and so they're at home, and we decided to take him to the petting farm. We decided to take him to SeaWorld, of which he lived and he loved. And so when I got your messages, I just decided to take the day off. I didn't upload yesterday. I just took the time off. And the weather was wonderful yesterday. That's another thing. The weather was absolutely amazing. So Nikki responded. She put up screenshots on her Instagram stories. So we're going to read everything before I start. Okay, I made a video responding to the allegations and I was ready to press post, but for the sake of our children, I'm not going to engage in a back and forth online. I'll share context that was missing from his video and leave the subject alone. I have had no contact with him since he posted that video, nor have I threatened legal action. Jamie removed the video simply because he saw that people weren't buying his story. I felt something wasn't right in my marriage, but I didn't know what I was experiencing. Then in June of 2019, I came across the podcast, Love and Abuse, where I discovered what emotional abuse was. I made the mistake of telling him I knew he was emotionally abusive and probably a covert narc. As a narcissist. I never cheated on Jamie, and he knows that. But he was quick to run a smear campaign through the community about why we broke up. I want to make it very clear that what you witnessed was reactive. The clips you saw were carefully edited and didn't show what led to me smacking the phone out of his hand. Never have I punched this man or thrown heavy objects at him during our disagreements. I came to the house to collect some clothes and wanted to have a conversation. He kept calling me a slut. Sorry. Oh wow. He kept calling me a slut and to get out of his house. I then requested that he drops the girls at the supermarket car park for a changeover. And he says he would rather do it at the police station. This wasn't court ordered. At this point, I'm highly upset because why would you want to inflict that trauma on our daughters? Having changeover with their parents at a police station every week. He just wanted to manipulate their minds and paint the picture that mom was so dangerous that dad needed protection. I smacked the camera out of his hand because I was in a vulnerable moment and didn't want to be recorded. This was a pattern where he constantly violated me by filming me without consent. It started early at 18. Then when I gave birth, he posted my very personal birth vlogs without giving me any time to emotionally recover. I remember begging him to give me time with our new baby before he shared her with the world, but he told me to stop sabotaging the channel. When the cameras were rolling, Jamie was very sweet to me, but behind the lens, he was highly critical. My body after children quickly became a main topic, and he expressed me needing to hit the gym 3 weeks postpartum with Ava. He would repeatedly comment on my stretch marks and loose skin, asking why I couldn't just snap back. He blamed me for absolutely everything. Nothing I could do was right, and I was at the fault for anything that went wrong in his life. Shortly after that encounter, he tried to get a restraining order on me. Not only did he put himself down as the protected person, but also our 2 daughters. If he was successful in obtaining that, I could not come within 200 meters of them. His mother enabled his behavior and signed as a witness that she saw me beating him in front of the children. The clip you saw of me smacking the phone. And they took this evidence to court. I put a counter complaint on him, and it was up to the judge to decide. He knows there's nothing I love more than our daughters, so he used that footage to silence me. We never went before a judge. Instead, he had his lawyer present an undertaking which conveniently included that the children could continue being filmed for YouTube. It also included that we couldn't mention one another or our relationship online for 12 months. We both signed it because I had no intention of making this public and didn't want to risk the chance of not seeing our girls. He has been free to speak on this since 2020. Here it shows a document. I undertake that I will not, so on and so forth, commit family violence against the protected persons. It is written here to remain wherever within 5 meters of the protected person, to go or remain within 200 meters of the home. The property, the persons and effects, all of this, it states here. Other conditions referred to the undertaking, you can see it's all written here. Shall I apply except for this? Shall I apply except for that? This is confirmation. I never kept him from the kids. I said you can see them whenever you want. All I ask is that he stopped exploiting them. I saw how it affected me in the marriage, and I didn't want our kids to suffer the same confusion because Dad was totally different when the cameras were on. In 2020, Jamie messaged my sister and was trying to get me back once he saw the views were still low, despite using the kids for the majority of his content. I had already filed for divorce, but he wanted me to change my mind. He came to my parents' house. We went for a walk, and he told me he wanted his family back. I said no. Our divorce was finalized in December of 2020. Since then, I've been negotiating their online presence and managing to get it down to 1 video a week featuring the kids. This was across all platforms, including YouTube, TikTok, and IG. I worked very hard to lower their online presence because I saw how it affects them. I initially agreed to him filming with the kids, as long as he pays their percentage, but he refused that offer. He claims I was vengeful, but after I left, he stole the channel, changed password to the business email so I couldn't work with past clients, and changed our bank details on AdSense so that the revenue for our past vlogs went to his personal account. He kept the vlogs for himself, leaving me with 0 memories of our children. I requested my full birth videos, but he kept them for me for 3.5 years. He used this as leverage so that I changed my stance on him making content with the girls. Part of the reason I vlogged was to have a memory diary of our babies as they grew. but he kept these for me too. I even asked for footage of my sister Sarah. He had all the hard drives, and he told me they were destroyed. Please keep in mind, my sister isn't alive anymore, and they were the only videos of her. I had to look back and remember her. He knew our children and my sister were a sensitive spot for me, so he would use these two things to control me. Jamie's health issues never stopped him from partying with friends, never stopped him from taking trips overseas while I looked after our children. When I did ask for assistance, he would throw it in my face that I was the one who wanted kids. So I find it interesting that he claims he's too sick to work a regular job. I even gave him ideas on what he could film. I told him he could make video editing content, as he's a great editor, or work a traditional job. I'm not limiting his capacity to earn. I simply put my foot down and said, don't exploit our children for monetary gain like he did with me. Jamie kept dragging me back and forth to court and writing complaints to my lawyers constantly. The legal fees he incurred were self-inflicted. His 40th birthday. On Jamie's birthday, the girls had school. They mentioned Dad was going to Sydney for his birthday. He was aware that she had a dental emergency, so I took the next available appointment, which happened to fall on Friday. I offered for him to take them instead, as it was an emergency, and he said he'd rather take them out for ice cream so he doesn't miss his flight. The appointment was at 5 p.m. I picked up the girls from the local ice cream place at 4:40 and we went to our appointment. Jamie then left for the airport at 5 p.m. to catch his flight to Sydney. The dad playgroup. At this point of co-parenting, I had reached my tolerance and I wanted minimal in-person contact with him for the sake of Ava and Zoe. He would always have his phone out trying to bait a disagreement with me because I didn't want them being used in content. I asked him to put Zoe in school on Wednesday so I could completely avoid contact with him. One parent drops them off, the other parent picks them up. This seemed like a great solution, but of course he fought me on this too. Had there been work obligations restricting him from changing his schedule, I would completely understand, but there wasn't. He had only been to the playgroup one time. He could have made other arrangements for the sake of healthy co-parenting. Disney. I had to take legal action for my girls to even attend school at their ages. In Australia, you start school at 5 or 6, depending on how early in the year you were born. Jamie wanted them to delay another year so he could milk them for views while they were in his care. I said no. We live in Australia and California was a very far flight and he had never taken them out of the country alone. I didn't want them to go, but I offered to come so that the girls didn't miss out on the experience. But he knew if I was there, I wouldn't like him filming them as much, so he made co-parenting the issue. I wanted to put our issues aside and give the girls some happy memories with both parents. I brought up the matter of schooling because he took me back to court and forced me to send the girls to this very expensive private school. This was his request, and I am now responsible for their expenses. Depression is something I would never take lightly. The comments I made on the recording audio are not okay. Before he pressed record, he was calling me crazy and said I needed psychiatric help, threatening to take full custody of our kids, so I stooped to his level. This isn't an excuse, and I apologize if these statements caused offense to anyone. Long story short, this was a very manipulative and calculated attack on not only myself, but this will also cause collateral damage on our two children. This was a 4-year-old clip and now these clips will remain online forever. I have moved on with my life. I'm in a loving, genuine relationship, and I'm finally at peace. The smear campaign was made to not only garner sympathy from his audience, but to revive a stagnant YouTube channel, sell an unreleased children's book, and completely slander my reputation. Jamie wanted revenge for me putting my foot down and restricting how often he posts the girls online. It disheartens me that I need to even make these statements because most people with discernment can see it for what it was. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to read this. To Ava and Zoe, I'm sorry. The judgment of King Solomon is a biblical tale from 1 Kings 3:16 to 28. King Solomon was known for his wisdom, and he was known to be fair. I have loved this story since I was a little girl, and I think it is befitting. Listen to the story. There were two women that were brought to King Solomon. There was a dispute. The two women had given birth to sons. And in the night, one son passed away. The woman that lost her son went and took the other woman's child and claimed it to be hers. There was nobody in the house, just those two. And so when the other woman woke up and saw the baby lying beside her, having transitioned, it wasn't the transitioning alone, it was that this was not her child. And so she told King Solomon, she has my son, and she replaced her dead son to mine. They went back and forth. That is my son. No, that is my son. And he said, okay. He said, bring the child forth and lay him down. And he called the officer and he said, if that be the case, where both of you claim that this is your child, then I instruct my officer to divide this child in half. You will take half and you will take half. One woman said, yes, that is fair, while the other woman looked in shock. As the officers raised his sword, the woman in shock ran to the child and said, if this be, then let her have the child. If I cannot have him, let me spare him and let him be raised by her. But do not kill him, do not divide him. And King Solomon sat back. He got up, he wrapped the child and gave to the pleading mother who said, do not slay him. He said, take your son. Because a mother could never do that to her son. Nikki and Jamie, you need great guidance. I'm speaking to the two of you here now. The two of you have wronged each other, and the two of you have suffered and are hurt. And in a bid to retaliate for one thing or another, the children are the ones that suffer. Your daughters, I am very much of the understanding right now that in the last 4 years that nobody knew about this, the relationship has been extremely toxic. And these young children have been going back and forth with this. Nikki, I knew you via Sarah. I saw you on Instagram. You know how Instagram will suggest content. And I saw you laughing and playing with her. And I warmed up to you right away. When Sarah passed, I shed a tear. Because I think, well, I speak for myself, we had gotten used to her. And might I take the opportunity to give you my deepest condolences, yourself and your family. That's a terrible loss. You had children back to back. I am suspecting that perhaps you had postpartum. Perhaps you didn't even know that you had it. Most women, when they have children back to back, they suffer from postpartum. It's a lot to go through, especially when you've lost your sister. I like to advise very young girls not to get married because you don't know yourself yet. And it would have been better if you had gotten to know yourself and know Jamie before you got married, and for sure before you had children. Children are a blessing. And as you stated, Jamie didn't want children. You should never have had children with him. That was your mistake, because that should come willingly. That should come with excitement, with passion, with sacrifice, of which you were willing to do. But you did not know that you were going to end up doing it alone, because you were a single mother in a marriage, I'm guessing. If the 20-year-old me walked by me right now, I wouldn't recognize her. I wouldn't. I'm 54. I think you're in your early 30s. I could have been your mom. And so I am coming with 20 years experience because I made mistakes too. There is nobody that is perfect. We are all flawed. And I was in a relationship where my boyfriend was older. And sometimes he wouldn't talk to me for days. And I would sit and I would cry and I would wait for him to talk to me again. And that was the greatest present. It never occurred to me that he was ill-treating me. It didn't. I just thought I deserved it, and now that he was talking to me again, I was back in his good graces. It's why I do this channel. It's why I have sister to sister. I never had daughters because God said I will give all of these girls to you. So I am talking to you like a daughter. You have a temper. It will get you nowhere fast. You have to find self-control. Anger will get you nowhere. And that was the ammunition that you handed over to Jamie on a silver platter, knowing that your children could have been taken away from you. That was your fault. I am hot-tempered too. Over the years, I have learned to calm down. And when I had Adrian, if you watch my previous episodes, I calmed down. There were times when I was right, but it wasn't the right thing to do because I have Adrian, just like you have Zoe and Ava. I would have knocked the phone out of his hand too. I can see that now. I'm watching. Oh, I would have done that. Upon reflection, I absolutely would not, because it would risk Adrian being in the crossfire. It's like a stray bullet. It was meant for Jamie. It hit Ava and Zoe. That was what you did. You're a mom. It's not an easy job. It's a sacrifice upon sacrifice upon sacrifice. And they are blessings. And where you lost your sister, God multiplied that and gave you 2 daughters. It does not matter, that Jamie took the hard drives. It does not matter that he took away the memories of your children. Wait for it. Free yourself from the bondage of his imprisonment and let it go, because you are God's own child. Because everything that you think you've lost, you don't need. Be grateful that you have beautiful, healthy children. Don't look at what you don't have of what you lost. Look at what you do have. They are beautiful girls. They are not handicapped. They're not blind. They're not deaf. Sarah took that sacrifice and she's up there looking at all of you and she's protecting you. And where you think you have no one, she's watching you. She's watching you and she's blessing you and taking care of you the way you took care of her on this earth. Be close to your God, because it explains so much. And you realize, I understand. Sarah's time on this earth was only for a short time, because she sent a message. That's what our Father does. Every one of us, each and every one of us have an assignment. For me, you're going to do this, this, that, and this. When I looked at the assignment, I said, no way. What? I don't get married to 40? Oh my God. What? I will not have a child to 49? What? I'm going to do YouTube? What? I'm going to... Oh no. I don't want this package. I don't want this responsibility. All my other friends would have been married. I'm going to be old. What? Oh no. I can't do this. I cannot do this. No. I can't. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be different. I want to go and study law. I want to have all of my friends. I want us to graduate the same time. I want to be back home in Nigeria with my black husband. I don't want to do... No, he's white. I don't want this assignment. God said, this is your assignment. Take it or leave it. I didn't take it for 20 years and I found myself lost. And one day, truly one day, I said, God, you know what? Okay, what am I supposed to do? You guide me and I'll be okay. And he said, of course you're going to be okay, because I'm going to give you the skill set for you to survive. Go ahead. I'll catch up to you. But go ahead, because I have your other sisters, I have your other brothers. When I say sisters and brothers, I don't mean my own family. I'm talking about in the world. I have other people I have to attend to. I'll catch up to you. Go. I've given you everything you need. And so today I find myself here, where I think I know what he wanted me to do. I had to go through all of that to understand and to have the humility, the empathy, the understanding, and to be non-judgmental to all of those daughters out there. That's where I was to step in. You can't imagine the messages I get on a daily basis. So, reading what you have said, I hear you. I hear you. This is what you felt that you could do at that time. But the same with Jamie. You didn't want to do YouTube, but this was a young man who realized that he could make a career out of this. And as you very well know, YouTube is not for the meek. It's not for the light-hearted. It's not an easy job. YouTube is a beast. It's not a joke. Especially when you're not inclined that way. It wasn't your thing. I am of the stance where both husband and wife, you work together, you bring income together. I feel that it makes you closer. You share your dreams, you support each other, even if it means that you're behind a little bit, supporting, pushing him, or he's behind pushing you, but you work together. If you felt that you were not good at editing, you should have suggested, Jimmy, let's hire an editor. I understand that this was extremely challenging for you, but perhaps there were times when you could have met Jimmy again halfway. You could have talked to him and said, Jamie, you know, let us find a way to do this. I'm not saying that you didn't. I absolutely 1,000,000,000% agree the children should not be on YouTube. Ula said it and I agreed. I co-signed. As a matter of fact, we were told so many times, and I've mentioned this before, because Ula is Norwegian and I am African, oh, start a channel. Because people are fascinated with black and white. Because people are fascinated. They think, really, that our lives are different. That because I'm black and he's white, there must be something different. And that is what they really fetish over. I'm not a monkey in a cage. And I'm not a circus act. And I think you felt that too. So I get it. At the same time, Jamie, you could read him, and yet you didn't read him. Because Jamie brought all of this out because the income had dried up. It wasn't really for you because you have brand deals. So you can have Fenty Beauty and that could last you for a while, so on and so forth. Because you also said that you're paying fully for this school. It's the same thing I told Jamie about the house. Nobody can force you to do anything, Nikki. If you cannot pay for the expensive private school, don't pay it. Don't pay it. Don't pay it. You don't have to pay it. Can I tell you, put your hand in the fire? No. You won't put your hand in the fire. Why would you do that? That will hurt you. Because you also have to be of sound mind as a mom. Why is Jamie able to get to you? Because he can get inside you. You see, when you are healed on the inside, when you know who you are on the inside, nothing can touch you on the outside. Nothing can touch you on the outside. And that is why, Nikki, I want you to find therapy. I want you to find healing. Because you've gone through a lot of trauma yourself. And you've just been on the go. You haven't had time to realize how terribly hurt and damaged you have been through all of this. Because you have been focusing on other things. You see, when you are healed on the inside, bullets can come to you and they'll just fall on the floor. The person that you loved is no longer there. But the person that you loved, you have to hold on to those memories for the children and let that curtail your behavior. You didn't speak up. You should have spoken up a long time ago. You were too young. You shouldn't have gotten married. You were too young. You didn't know who you were. I want you now to take all of your lessons and teach your children. Because you see, let me tell you, there are lessons and blessings. Either you win or you learn. You never lose. You win or you learn. This is a learning platform because you are young. And this is a foundation that has changed the trajectory of your life. And you're going to start living. And all of this is going to be the past. I promise you. But this was a lesson. It was a lesson for you to take it. It's for you to understand that it's not to break you. It's to build you. Jamie, Nikki has responded. And it's unfortunate that you brought this 4 years after the fact. I want to give you some guidance and I want to give you some hope because I believe that the people around you, your friends and your family, were not able to. They sided with you. They should have been able to be in a non-biased situation and that would have helped you. No question, you built a fabulous channel. I give you that credit because you were the visionary and you saw what you could do. And you did do it with your beautiful black wife and your beautiful mixed children. They were the essence to the channel. When things went awry, your foresight was short-lived, and you let them go thinking that even though I'm not married to Nikki, I can still capitalize on Nikki. It is like you killing the cow to eat and hoping the cow is standing in the farm tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. And Nikki is a woman with feelings. You don't want me, you can't have me. And that's the disconnect. We can sleep with you and not make love to you. We can sleep with you and you are sleeping with a dead body, because we are looking at you and we're thinking, how much arsenic exactly do I need to put in his breakfast cereal tomorrow morning before he goes to work? Oh yeah, switch on and off. We are programmed differently, and we can be dangerous. And because we are not physical in that way, you miss it. Because where you said she was abusive, she threw the phone out of your hands. I would have liked to see bruises on your body, old bruises, black and blue, on your neck, on your back, on your legs, to substantiate that she was an abusive wife. You had those only 2 clips because those were the only 2 clips you had. There wasn't anything else. And you used that hoping that you would garnish sympathy from us. But not everybody is in the teens that watch the video. Some of us are much older that have years of experience of life. And so it didn't come across that way. You needed somebody to say, Jamie, listen, Nikki's gone. The kids, kind of sort of poor taste. You have the channel, million plus. You have to start a brand because YouTube is not forever. Even I'm starting with my shapewear brand. I'm going to do skincare. I'm going to do makeup. I'm going to do hair. I'm going to do all kinds. Podcast is a huge thing now. I'm on top of it because like anything, what was that social media platform? Oh, what was it? I forget now. MySpace. Whew. YouTube, I understand the monetary gain of all the money you had because you guys were the OGs. You could have put that towards a brand, towards another outlet so that you didn't have to depend on this channel because things change. But Nikki was your ticket. And you see, I could sit down here and tell you, find another black woman and do the same thing. It still won't be the same. An African woman? You could, but it will come with its own challenges. This formula only came but once. And I think you blamed Nikki because Nikki was part of that big plan. Here's the thing. It was God that came to come and teach you a lesson. That material gain doesn't mean anything. The big house, the fancy car, in the big grand scheme of things, it's not, Jamie. You were a wealthy man. You had a wonderful wife. And you had 2 beautiful children. And if you had gone in that direction and said, okay, let me take care of my wife. Nikki, you're feeling some kind of way. All right, stop filming. Let's stop. You don't want the children to be filmed. Okay, let's stop. Let's stop for a while. Let's regroup. She doesn't want the children to be picked up at the police station because of trauma. All right, Nikki. You see, if you had reassured Nikki, Nikki would have opened up to you. We are beautiful scorpions. We are truly beautiful scorpions. You see the rose. You see how it opens up. But we have thorns to protect how fragile and delicate we are on the inside because it's soft petals. You missed it and you wanted to punish her. But you see, that is what God did to Pharaoh when he was asked 10 times the 10 plagues. he was asked, Pharaoh of Egypt, I'm going biblical now, was told, release the Israelites, let them go. You wanted them to work. You were giving signs, Jamie. Let Nikki go. Nikki is not cut out for this. And if that were the case, where she could do it in small doses, why didn't you hire full staff? I'm doing the same thing. Editor, I have to. I have Christina who does so much for me. And I have Ula who does so much. Because I'm a mom. And Adrian is my everything. He's my number one. And so in order for me to upload every day, to do the hair, the makeup, at 54, I'll be 55, to go for the exercises, for the fitness, to do the skincare, to be up at 4 in the morning sometimes because I'm talking to Japan, I'm talking to Los Angeles, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. I have my tribe. Where was her tribe to support her? It wasn't there. And so God hardened your heart. And somehow, blindly, you came and put a whole video up of 1 hour and a half. And in your mind, you thought that it was absolutely precise, accurate. This is going to make me a lot of money. It's going to change the trajectory of my channel. It's going to be copacetic and we're good to go. Because the courts have already decided for you and Nikki. We don't have to come here and repeat what the courts have said. The courts have said, you know, you have 50%, you have 50%. You get this, you get that. Jamie, you cannot, no. You can't film with the girls only once a week. That's not enough to sustain. But that's not Nikki's fault. Nikki had the wherewithal because she knew how it made her feel. Because she was the monkey in the cage. Because she was an Israelite. Until God intervened and said, we'll take the firstborn son from every family. You shot yourself in the foot by posting this video about yourself and Nikki. You shot yourself in the foot, but it was a lesson that God was trying to tell you. Be careful of God's children. They're special. And so you were encouraged, and by not saying anything, that's an encouragement from your family, from your mom, from your friends. They all took sides. And that's the same with Nikki. The families did nothing but to add to this. I wish I had known. I would have given you the advice. Jamie, this is a wrong move. It's a wrong move. It's going to backfire. And it backfired. Because before we even got whatever Nikki had to say, a lot of people felt that it was very one-sided because you took no accountability at all. You're calling your wife a slut. In front of your mother. It was calculating because you knew she would react. And Nikki reacted and you got what you wanted. Because you were prepared to take those girls from her. Again, Jamie, you see our God up above? He would have never allowed that. And you were going to come out here and destroy her. And you're not thinking of the teachers in the schools that she has to go and see every day when she picks up these children. You're not thinking of your children, the ramifications of how it's going to affect them. Because children can be cruel. They make fun of each other. They don't know. And it's bad enough that these children have been going on with this for 4 years. You needed somebody to tell you as fact, Jamie, this is wrong. Don't do this. You could have met her halfway. You could have said, it's a dental emergency. I know what that is. I've been through it with Adrian. And Ula was there when I fainted because they had to take Adrian, they had to put Adrian under. I passed out. Maybe you could have said, you know what, let me come with you to the dentist. let me sit with you. Let's do one or two things. But you were only driven by money. And it was causing problems because it showed that you were being insensitive. And you know, and I get it, do it to me. But you will not do it to my children. And then you're talking about her. She has stretch marks. She has loose skin. I have it too. I've given birth. And I have a C-section. All the C-section mamas, put your hand up. I've given birth to another human being. You should have rubbed your hands over her body and said how beautiful she was. Nikki would have posed right there in a bikini and you would have had views, you would have had episodes. You didn't love her right. And you weren't patient. And she had just given birth. There's a picture that I saw and her head was down and she was looking all bewildered. And I felt that. And I said to myself, very odd that Jamie is smiling and she is not. And this was in passing. Now I know that she did not even want to be photographed. Because you wanted content after content to push the limit. Left to you, you don't mind. You'd have had the camera in there as she was pushing that baby out. Some things need to be special. And so you deprived her of images of her daughters, of her sister. Nikki, I blame you. Never ever put all of that responsibility in another person's hands. Even the finances, you should have had your own account. You should have brought that up to the court and said, nah, AdSense, we're also going to throw that in. You should have had your own external hard drive. Are you kidding me? You should have had it. Absolutely. Ula and I have done over 100 videos. Wait 1 minute. I have my external hard drive. Yes, I do. Ula went on a trip recently. And I said, Ula, you know what? It's time. Teach me. Teach me how to film. Teach me how to edit. Teach me how to upload. Teach me how to get all of the content out of the chip and put it into the computer. Teach me how to take pictures of myself with the remote control. Make yourself independent of him. Make sure that you can do as much as you can without him. Because anything can happen. And you have to carry this. And I have to carry this because I have a son to take care of. It wasn't Jamie's fault. It was your fault, of which you will not make the mistake again, because you are in a loving relationship now and you have to do things differently. That's why I tell you guys, go to my channel and watch all of the episodes, the 10 of dating, the 10 points and codes of marriage. All of this is important. Always know that you have to stay humble and that the Lord up above is the one that takes care of you and wraps that love and protection around the both of you. And so, Jamie, that is how we came here, because you served this for us. But the thing was that you did not serve it on a platter with fruits and different meat cuts. You served it on the cover of a trash can. And you thought we would not notice because you thought that you were able to sway us and charm us like you have done with so many other people in your life. And so it has become a skill. Those that are close to you did not or did nothing. And so you went on this self-sabotage. Because if you had the love and respect for your family, for your mom and for your father, you would never have posted this video. Of your mother crying like this, you would never have done that. To open her up to the criticism of the internet, I would never do that to my father, to my mother. You get to a stage in life where now that I'm 54 and my parents are older, my father is my father and is also my son. My mother is my mother and she's also my daughter. I take care of them. Because they took care of me, because they raised me, They guided me. They came to my school plays. They came to come and pick me up in high school. They saw me through university, of which they paid. They saw me graduate. They saw me get married. They saw me have children after 9 rounds of IVF, of which my father also contributed to it. Yes, he did. And saw us in our home. And has seen me with this channel and supported me every step of the way. You owe them that. I could never do that to them. I would never do that to them. And the family, as many of you have mentioned in the comments, Africa. It is true. It's different. Our elders could never have been in that room, and you are filming them. Talking about, I'm filming Ula, trying to get him because he's violent. Jimmy, you did that for other reasons. Not because she was violent. She was aggressive. But to call her that terrible name, I shudder to think what else you have said to her that we never heard. The conversations that we never heard. The things that we never saw. If you had come 4 years after the fact and said, guys, things have been tough. Nikki and I are divorced now, and I'm here out on my own. I want to revive this channel. Give me some suggestions. And turn that even to a relationship guru. This time around on how to survive divorce. On how to survive a marriage gone awry. And do you know, if you had said, these are the things that I did, don't do them, you would have had followers, including me. I would have even said, let us come together and do a podcast, Jamie, about relationships. You did not do that because you're above it in your head. You would have soared. Editing, as we very well know, you're amazing. The talent is still there. It has just been redirected to your anger, and you feel robbed of what Nikki took with her when she left. Go back, Jamie. Get a job. Get a job that sustains you, and come back to YouTube. But revamp it. Come back and apologize for the part that you took. Because you see, the two of you are wrong. The two of you are wrong. And the two of you had very valid points. Very, very valid points. But I tell you, Jamie, YouTube is a beast. And that formula of talking about the family life and the marriage is not sustainable. Because we as humans, we are flawed. Because we are imperfect. Because there will come a time when one of you does not want to film because you're upset, you're this, you're that. You get upset when the other one doesn't film. You are trying to package what they do in Hollywood with $1 million backing. That's why you have these big, beautiful TV shows. So many television shows, family shows. That comes with backing. You want to do it all by yourself. These girls are how old? In 10 years, they don't want to do it. Who's to say that YouTube is even here at that time? These are the mistakes that had nothing to do with Nikki. Nikki came and blessed you. On the contrary, Nikki came and blessed you with so much, and you didn't see that it was a gift. It was not a well that keeps giving. It was for you to use that and bring it and build it into something more. I don't rely on content from Ula for this channel. I don't rely on my son for content on this channel. Fumi, if you cannot do it on your own, you cannot do it, baby. Because this channel, this YouTube, it's a beast. It takes personality. You got to have the personality. That is why those that are really successful, you've got to give them maximum respect. Because it's a beast. It's not a joke. For all the backing that they have in Hollywood. And I'm an actor. I'm an actor that came out of Hollywood. I went to Actors Studio, New York. With the best of the best of the best of the best. YouTube is hard. And you want Nikki to do it. How did you not see that? God bless the two of you. Find forgiveness in each other. Forgive him, Nikki. Jamie, forgive Nikki. Forgive her for all the things that we don't know about. And try to co-parent. These girls need you. Ava and Zoe, in 2044, when perhaps you see this video, know that your parents loved you. Know that they did the best they could with what they had at the time. They were young. It broke my heart when she said to Ava and Zoe, I'm sorry. It touched me. But Nikki, extend that apology to Jamie too. Because you were wrong as well. God bless the both of you. Miss Tess, of whom I recited her message yesterday, is going to come on the channel. I've invited her to come on. I want her to come on because I think going forward, we should highlight how difficult and challenging divorces are and how it affects everybody, but most importantly, the children. I think that would be a lovely episode because there were so many of you that said that they were going through this challenging time. So let's see what she can come up with. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, and I will see you guys sooner than later.